An area-wide flood watch has been issued due to the heavy rain and saturated ground that we now have in place. We'll see even more chances of rain toward the end of the week. I'll take a closer look.
Officials in Whitley County believe they dodged the bullet with weekend flooding, but are there more concerns with more rain in the forecast?
We're certainly looking at all the robberies to see if there's any connection between them.
Police say there are similarities between this crime and the more than dozen other recent robberies.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. Rounds of rain continue to pound most of central and eastern Kentucky tonight, and it is a pattern that we'll have to get used to this week.
And with so much rain, we're tracking the threat of flooding around the region. We begin with meteorologist Jim Caldwell. Jim has an early look at that wet forecast. Jim.
Plenty of rain to go around for everybody out there. We're still tracking some light and moderate showers throughout the entire area. We are catching somewhat of a breakthrough, and that's going to be a break that will be well received throughout the entire area. Let's check Defender so you can see some of those showers starting to dry up, so to speak. We'll still have some out there throughout parts of the evening and even into tonight. The coverage will not look like it did through most of the day today. Just lingering showers out there right now. And you can see a little break happening now, even between Lexington all the way out to Moorhead. And eventually that'll be all the way out to the West Virginia state line. Showers still holding on there along the Hal Rogers Parkway from London into Hazard. And then more light and even some moderate rain. Steady is the main thing here around parts of eastern Kentucky as well. You can see how that big slug of moisture pushed through. And now you're just getting those stragglers, just hit and miss here and there type setup throughout the rest of the evening. What we're looking at here is our high resolution model data. You can see more hit and miss likely through 10 o'clock and even into parts of the overnight as we go into the early morning. Tries its best. Again, this is the highest resolution data that we show you on television, and it tries to put at least a little more early into our area, but better chances out in eastern Kentucky. We'll take a closer look at all of it, including that flood threat, coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Jim. Well, they've gone up and they've gone down, but will they go up again? The rain and melting snow have caused rivers and streams in southern Kentucky to go back and forth.
Officials in Whitley County say they were concerned that the Cumberland River would rise to historic levels. It didn't happen, but the high water has created quite an attraction at Cumberland Falls State Park. As Phil Pendleton reports, there is concern of potentially more flooding to come. It's our top story at 5:30.
Bill and Tanya Weaver heard about the high water at Cumberland Falls and wanted to see it for themselves.
It's really powerful.
Water is rushing over the falls after recent rains and snowmelt caused the river to swell its banks.
A lot stronger than what you think.
The Cumberland River crested at just over 28 feet. Officials fear that it might crest as high as 29 feet. Homes were damaged and no evacuations ordered, yet the rising waters did wash out parts of some roads. Culverts were replaced on Tackett Creek Road. Despite more rain Tuesday, the river is lower, not higher.
It's receding, looking pretty good right now. We're just waiting on the next weather to come through the rain.
Moses says he believes they dodged a bullet, and he's hoping they don't have to issue any more advisories anytime soon. But a few more inches of rain can do a lot of damage.
Reflooding, of course the ground's saturated, so the 2 to 4 inches rain we're going to get, it's going to go into the streams and we're going to have some flooding again.
As for now, the hope is that the only high water they want to see is simply the sight of it going over the falls and not causing problems. In Whitley County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Whitley County officials say they will not have an estimate on the damage caused by the flooding until later this week. A Lee County road damaged by high water will be closed indefinitely. Water flooded Kentucky 52 near mile marker 17, causing the road to buckle. That's about 5 miles east of Beattyville near St. Helens. The Transportation Cabinet has posted a detour on Kentucky 11 and Kentucky 30 through Boonville. The detour is in blue on this map. That road has been closed since Friday.
In western Kentucky, the Ohio River is above flood stage for the first time in 4 years, and it's not done rising yet. The river is expected to crest tomorrow morning. At the Belle of Louisville, employees are dealing by using a ramp to get to work. They started building the ramp last Thursday in preparation for the high water.
Over the weekend, the river kept on coming up, and we had to build it up even more.
The Ohio River has also crept onto Cox Park in Louisville, where water threatens the road. Officials say that so far the flood event has only caused minor issues. Once the water goes back down, crews will then begin cleaning debris from all the roads. And in Franklin County, some roads have been covered by water. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says US 421 at Lebanon Road and Kentucky 1659 at mile marker number 2 have water over the roads. County leaders there asked drivers not to drive across the roads covered in high water.
All of this rain caused several crashes out on the roads today. Kentucky 11 in Montgomery County is still closed tonight after a UPS tractor trailer carrying hazardous materials overturned. The crash happened around 7 this morning. The sheriff says the truck slid off an embankment and flipped on its side, causing diesel fuel to leak out of the engine.
We're looking at chemicals possibly getting into the water. What's on the vehicles, if it gets wet, it could give off a reaction, a chemical reaction. This would be dangerous.
The sheriff says the hazardous situation has been contained, but it will be several more hours before the road is completely open. At this point, crews do not know how much diesel has leaked into the ground. You can track the rain from where you are and when you're away from your TV with WKYT.com and the WKYT First Alert Defender Radar app for your iPad or your smartphone.
They believe they could be linked to other robberies. Lexington police need your help tracking down the men who robbed a GameStop this morning. They say the 2 men ran into the GameStop on West New Circle Road about 10:30, jumped over the counter and demanded cash. Kristen Kennedy talked to officers about today's crime, about how they could be linked to more than a dozen other robberies around town in this Crime Tracker report.
This GameStop hadn't even been open an hour before police say 2 men ran in and demanded money.
2 individuals came into the business. They had their faces partially disguised with hoodies.
Lieutenant Clay Combs says the description of the robbers and the way they approached the clerk inside the GameStop on West New Circle are eerily similar to about 15 other robberies they're investigating.
One immediately jumped over the counter, threatened the clerk with something, a weapon, possibly a knife. We believe it was a knife.
They are looking into the possibility Tuesday morning's crime is in some way connected to others. Earlier this month, Lexington police arrested Darnell Thomas for 14 robberies involving various businesses around town. Police believe he worked with the second man in many of those robberies. They haven't made any other arrests.
We did call our robbery homicide unit out. They're looking at those connections. Obviously, we do have some video stills and some things we're going to look at too, and possibly release those later on. But we're certainly looking at all the robberies to see if there's any connection between them.
Police are also looking for a minivan. They believe the robbers left in a gold or beige minivan. In Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Lexington police say the men's faces were partially concealed, and clerks estimate they're in their 20s or 30s.
A gas station was closed for several hours after an early morning burglary. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Wolfe County. It happened this morning at the Shell station in Campton. Few details have been released, but state police dispatchers say no one was hurt. It's not clear if police know who they're looking for. In Perry County, a truck was stolen overnight, and police are now looking for any clues to lead them to the person responsible. Hazard police say the truck was stolen from the parking lot of Wayne Supply. The truck is black and has the words Elston Dedicated in red, white, and blue on its doors. We're told it's valued at more than $80,000. Police don't have any description of possible suspects. And in Wayne County, a woman is in jail after police say she said she was holding her husband hostage. It happened at a home on Kentucky 834 on Monday night. State police say they tried to negotiate with 47-year-old Theresa Williams over the phone, but it didn't work. So they went into the house, tased Williams, and arrested her. Troopers searched the home for the hostage, but didn't find anyone.
Tax time is a prime time for scammers. Melissa from Letcher County has our good question tonight. She says, I recently received a phone call about tax fraud that claimed to be from the U.S. Treasury. I did not answer the call, but they left a message. Wouldn't the U.S. Treasury send a written notice for tax fraud? Melissa, you're right to be skeptical. It's probably a scam. In fact, the Better Business Bureau of Central Kentucky says tax-related schemes were the #1 scam in the U.S. last year. Heather Clary of the BBB says they receive calls each day from folks reporting this kind of scam. They say the messages use frightening language by phony agents using badge numbers, threatening lawsuits or even an arrest if the consumer doesn't return the call. And once the consumer calls back, he or she is told the fines or back taxes must be paid immediately. The con artist demands that the consumer get a reloadable prepaid card loaded with the prescribed amount and give the numbers over the phone to satisfy the debt. Also troubling about this scam is that the con artists often use numbers with 202 area codes for Washington, D.C. The IRS or the U.S. Treasury would not call you on the phone about a back tax problem or tax fraud. They would notify you by mail first. Our advice, ignore the calls. The IRS also does not email.
Election Day may become a school day for students if state lawmakers can come to an agreement.
And a large banking company will not be financing coal companies that use mountaintop removal anymore. Bill Bryant tells us why in the bottom line.
Good evening. In just a few minutes on WKYT News at 6, we'll be releasing the results of our first 2015 WKYT Lexington Herald Leader Bluegrass poll with a focus on this year's governor's race. The four-way race is expected to be hard-fought among Agriculture Commissioner James Comer, the only candidate who's won a statewide election, former Louisville Councilmember Hal Heiner, who has been hitting the airwaves hard with TV spots depicting him as an outsider, Louisville businessman Matt Bevin, who tried to wrest the Republican U.S. Senate nomination from Mitch McConnell last year, and former Supreme Court Justice Will T. Scott, who is working for support outside his geographical base of eastern Kentucky. And because of the winter that suddenly turned so harsh and shut down schools for weeks, the legislature is considering allowing schools to use primary election day, May 19th, as a makeup day on which schools would be in session. It's unclear what impact that might have on voter turnout. State law normally closes schools because many schools are used as polling places. PNC, the nation's 7th largest banking company, has quietly decided not to finance coal mining companies that use mountaintop removal of coal in Appalachia. The New York Times reports the decision came without fanfare and after intense pressure from groups trying to get banks to stop financing mountaintop removal. Again, the results of the WKYT Lexington Herald Leader Bluegrass poll coming up in just a few minutes here on our newscast, and we'll have in-depth results at WKYT.com. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Well, people across Kentucky heard tornado sirens this morning as part of a statewide tornado drill today.
One school that knows all too well the damage severe weather can cause is Magoffin County High School. The school received damage from the tornado that ripped through eastern Kentucky in March of 2012. The damage has been repaired at the school. Students at the middle school that was destroyed now share space with the high school. The principal says he holds more drills after that tornado.
Hope and pray we never have to go through what we went through in 2012 again, but we're trying to be prepared just in case that ever happens again.
Principal Skaggs also says it's important to make sure that students know where to go and to stay away from doors and windows.